Salutations, friends! Welcome to another glorious day here at the Tango Hotel. And today, my friends, we will be discussing Warhammer 40k Darktide and my impressions of the newest patch, number 4, Blessings of the Omnissiah. Yes, indeed, friends, we're going to hop right into it. And, may I say, before we get into this video, before we start talking about any of this other things, and I start rambling on about how disappointed I am in so many things, blessings of the Omnissiah be upon you, brothers. All right, dudes, let's hop right in. So, patch number 4, let's go over the big highlights, and then we'll talk about a few things from there, shall we? Let's go. Pow. All right, so here we go. So, now you can do war gear sets, which allows you to put all of your all of your items, your curios, your weapons, and your cosmetics and emotes into a war gear set, so you can just swap them out as you need to. I guess this is useful because if I wanted to go on my Templar and I want to do a bleed build, that way I could just set it up and switch over immediately, and it would change everything. Same with my veteran. If I wanted to go shotgun versus last gun versus sniper rifle, I could see this being definitely useful. Good job. Thanks, devs. Appreciate your faces. Armory exchange. I'm going to tell you right now, I love this. This right here is baller. Right here. This right here, this is good stuff. And the reason it's good stuff is because it changes the game on how you get items. So what this allows you to do, now that they've got the full crafting system, we'll get into that here in a little bit, is it allows you to buy a profane weapon at exorbitant cost. Now, it's expensive. Don't get me wrong. But I think the reason it's so expensive is because of the high level that it is. I think it actually gets more expensive the more you level up, because it gives you higher and higher rated items, right? So if you just hit level 5 and you just got a certain sword or something, I'm sure it'll probably won't cost 9,200, right? And the ones down here at the bottom cost 11,000, I think, at max level, but it gives you like a max 350 rated weapon, although it still is great. But what this allows you to do is it allows you to burn your cash to get profane weapons so that you can hunt, number 1, for a higher rating, and number 2, it allows you to take that profane weapon and upgrade it to at least a blue so that you can get a blessing. All right, and to upgrade to a blue requires only plastisteel and money, so no diamantine. All right, and we'll get into that here in just a second. They've also changed some of the weekly contracts, right? So now instead they've combined scripture and grimoires to be together. So now when you get this contract, you can pick up either a scripture or a grimoire, right? And you get it out of the mission, bam, it counts. It's really good. I'm really big on this. I really like a lot of the tweaks that they've done. These things particularly are really, really good, and I very much appreciate it. Now, the Shrine of the Omnissiah. That's right, boys! The blessings of the Omnissiah be upon you. All right, so what does this mean? Well, now what this means is that consecrating as a shrine no longer has a cost adjustment where diamantine is no longer required to upgrade to anointed blue rarity level. Together with purchasing marks directly from Brunt's Armory, this makes it easier to upgrade and earn blessings as desired. So that means you can farm blessings. And why would you need to farm blessings? Well, because to be able to re-bless a weapon, i.e. change the blessing on that weapon, you must first own that blessing. It's not random like the perks. Instead you must sacrifice a weapon to get the blessing off of it. And here's another thing. If the blessing on the weapon you're sacrificing is 1, 2, or 3, it only gives you level 1, 2, or 3. You cannot get the level 4 without actually sacrificing a weapon that has the level 4 blessing on it. So that means you're gonna have to be farming for these weapons in the game, which is, it's not too bad, but it's not that great either, honestly, if you really think about it. So I'm not super I'm not super happy with how that's gone down, but it is better than it was. So, you gotta get what you can. So basically what this means is that you will want to burn your money buying profane weapons, leveling them up to blue to hunt for blessings. It's not that big of a deal, honestly. The only problem I really have with it is that I really do believe that almost every single vendor in the game should be accessible through the menu. I'm going to tell you right now, as a person who's played so many games where as I played so many games where you've had to run around to different vendors to do things. So when you're, how should I word this? Like what was that? Oh God, I can't remember the name of it. But there's many games where you have this hub world and you have to run everywhere to do everything. So if I want to go buy a bunch of weapons, then I have to run back to the bench. Then I have to go buy more weapons. And you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's a waste of, essentially a waste of time. Like, let's just be real. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be able to access it through the menus. Maybe like once you hit max level, that's when you access it through the menus. I would be perfectly fine with it being a max level like perk that you could just do it. That would be fine. I'd be okay with that. But anyway, so this is a really good thing. I really like it. I'm not as sold on how you actually acquire the blessings as I'd like to be. But it's better than it was, and it's not that bad of a system. It would just be nice if you could, somehow upgrade these, right? From 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So let's say you have 2 level 2 blessings of the same thing. You cannot earn that blessing a second time. So if you get one that like, it's the one that when you slide, it increases your reload speed, right? And you put that on, and you earn blessing off of a weapon to put that on another weapon. If you have the same exact tier, let's say it's tier 1, and you try to earn that blessing in the menus, it will say you already have this blessing. Instead of being able to be like, if you want to get a level 2 blessing out of the level 1, you need like 2 level 1s. And then from level 2 to 3 would be like 3 or 4. And then from 3 to 4 to be like 4 to 5. So you could craft the higher level version of the blessing, but you'd have to farm lower level versions of it. I think that would be relatively acceptable, but maybe that's something that they'll look into later. Maybe they won't. I don't know. If you've got as much money as this guy does, then I guess you really don't need it. So they've changed the mission board from 12 to 16 available missions, which is pretty awesome. I really actually like a lot of these changes. I'm not going to lie. As my feelings on the game are what they are, but the changes they're making are in the correct direction. So that's all I can really say at this point. They've also adjusted. I'll just read it. The balance of difficulty, maps, and conditions side missions has also been adjusted to account for the increase in availability. Timers for regular missions on the board have been decreased to a max of 15 minutes. And the rewards for side missions and conditions are no longer the same values and have now been individualized. This means that both side missions and conditions will reward different amounts of XP and dockets, which will also increase in the total amount awarded with higher difficulty chosen. And as you can see, here's the XP and docket modifiers that they've added. They've also increased the availability of crafting materials, was found within the missions. So on level 2, I believe, it's from 30 to 40, which is awesome. And on Malice, it's 125 max. That's pretty good, man. I really like this change as well. I do wish there was another way to get mats, because one of the problems that I was running into earlier was I basically burned all my mats months ago, whenever I stopped playing, because I was just trying to experiment and make new weapons and see what was going on with them. And so now I want to farm. So if I want to farm, that means I have to go into a low difficulty match and deal with people that are, may not want to get mats anyway. They may not want to farm mats, so they might run straight to the end. Same as level 3. It doesn't matter what level you're on. And so the biggest problem with the game, in my opinion, is the fact that it forces me to play with other random people, or to play a private match, I need to have at least one other person. I don't understand what the is going through the devs' heads when they said, oh, you have to have at least one other person. It's like, seriously, dude. Okay, I'm in control. We're good. like I said, I just don't understand what's going through their heads when it's like, oh, you know, the balance of the game is not correct. The bots are not where we want them to be. So you have to have another person. We don't want you to be able to say, like, dude, seriously, I would do it without bots if you would let me. Just let me play the game the way I want to. Because if I want to farm, I want to focus specifically on farming mats, which means I need to scour the entirety of the map to find them all. And if I'm doing that, I'm going to get left behind. And either I'm going to be ruining the game by going everywhere and trying to find all the mats, or another person is going to be ruining the game by just running straight for the end and getting their ass owned, right? So it's so frustrating because it's so close. Vermintide 2, I really loved that game, and one of the main reasons that I played for so long was because if I just wanted to get on and relax and just kill some rats and some chaos scum, I could just load it up, throw it on private, and just hop into my mission. And so only friends on my friends list on Steam could join. And so if they saw me online and wanted to hop in, they could. Otherwise, nobody else could bother me. And the bots would literally follow me around. And it's so much nicer, even on higher difficulties, when you don't have to deal with other people's bullshit. There's something about it. Okay. This is another good change. Like I said, almost all of these changes are in the correct direction. So good job, Fat Shark. Too bad you dropped the ball. I hope you recover. I'm never going to trust you. I'm not going to trust you on the next game. So it is what it is, right? So the Emperor's Gift will now be awarded upon every successful mission completion. So if you complete the mission, you get an Emperor's Reward. The higher the difficulty level, it increases the chance for a higher rarity item. Additionally, conditions will also affect the chances of increasing rarity of items being gifted. So good job. Item generation is significant upgrades have been made to the foundations of how we generate items, weapons, and curios, and how they are distributed across the game from different sources. Items consecrated, upgraded to rarity in the Shrine of Omnissiah will now have more favorable chances of unlocking higher tier perks and blessings. Like, this is awesome. This is so good. You know what would be really awesome too is instead of just increasing the chances, is if there was a way the player could affect the chances by like making an offering to the Omnissiah, for instance. Praise the Omnissiah. Anyway, and pass the ammo, right? So, maybe you pay an extra 1,000 ducats or 10,000 ducats and it increases your, and it literally tells you, oh, you now have a 10 or 20 or 30% chance. So like I said, I love the direction they're going in, but every single one of these like directional changes could be better. Every single one of them, without fail, feels like they could all be better in some form or fashion. So I'm very happy with the way they're going. I think the reason I'm being so hypercritical is because of how the game launched. So we'll just, you can tell my bias. I'm telling you my bias. I'm wearing it right here on my shoulder. No problem, right? All right. So, yes. So Armory Exchange requisition list will often see the Armory Exchange requisition list will often see items with one or two tier 1 and 2 perks. Blessings, while Sir Malik's will often perks / blessings, while Sir Melk's requisitions will often have items of 3 or 4 tier 3 or 4 perks and blessings for characters at level 30. So sorry about that. So buying them with money will be 1 and 2 tier, will be tier 1 and 2. Buying them with the Ordos is tier 3 and 4. And you have more favorable chances when you craft. Good stuff. Character creation, honestly, I don't care. Just better stuff. Emotes. Emotes are in the game. Do I need to talk about launch or what more needs to be said about this? Emotes are now in the game. And the ability to sort items. They've also changed the HUD. Now, I actually quite like this. It tells you a different weapon pattern. One of the biggest things that I think they talked about is well, anyway, they made it easier to. Is this it? Yes, part of this update. Okay, so they took a look at weapon balance, and so they changed a lot of the blessings and perks for, I think they're just blessings actually. Yeah. Specifically related to blessings. So they changed how a lot of the blessings works. They gave a bunch of buffs to a ton of blessings. Like, look at all of these, dude. It's insane. I highly recommend, if you're interested, you definitely take a look at it. It is an exhaustive list of dudes. Some of the weapons I like are on there. They're pretty cool, but, you know, others is just like, whatever. Most of it is just stat increases. Significant stat increases, but still stat increases. They fixed a lot with the Ogryn. I don't play Ogryn, and I have no interest in playing Ogryn. So if you like the Ogryn, here it is. Psyker is the same. I might end up making a new Psyker soon because both my Veteran and my Templar are max level. I'm actually considering making another Templar just so I can level him up again for the fun, right? So I can see how the game now functions if you level up. So, and the player incapacitation UI. This is another good direction they're going. So they've done a pass on the UI that informs you when team members are down, grabbed, or hanging from a ledge to try to ensure proper interfacing is given. This allows you to know. So it's basically more blatant that your fellows need your help and where they are and how long they have until they're dead. So, and they've done a lot of combat tweaks and fixes, and yeah, I'm actually really happy about the direction it's going. Like I said, I fired up the game today, and it was pretty baller. Cosmetics, I don't care about. Narrative, what narrative? My final thoughts on the game are pretty much that it's still not where it really should be. Maybe that's my bias from how poor the game launched. It should have been. If they released it when they released it when they did, they should have been like, okay, look, the game is not where we want it to be. Unfortunately, beta has shown us that we can't really release it in the way we want. We still need to do a bunch of stuff. So we're going to put out into early access until we're ready, or delayed the game, one or the other, because God help me, it has put such a bad taste in my mouth that they released it the way they did, with a full-on cash shop. With a full-on cash shop but they didn't have crafting in the game. But oh my God, they had a craft shop in the game. And there was so much about it. And the fact that you still cannot play solo like you could in Vermintide, like that should have been done on launch. Hands down. That thing specifically right there has ruined more of my gaming fun with this game than anything else. I can forgive a lot of bull, but the problem is that when I find something frustrating about the game, let's say I'm having problems with, I'm playing through and I get like team after team after team that's like splitting up and doing all kinds of dumb shit. And it's like, I just don't want to play with people right now. I want to play a couple games by myself so that I could just kill some stuff and get some loot and be done, right? And just vibe out, right? Not have to worry about anybody else, just for a little while. You can't do it. And it bothers me so much. And today I had the same exact thing happen where we had somebody being a dumbass. Maybe it was me, maybe it was them. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who the dumbass was. Somebody was being a dumbass. And we lost a level, 4 level 30 people lost a tier 2 difficulty match. Yeah, because we split up 2 and 2. And we had an unfortunate event happen, and then another unfortunate event, and then another unfortunate event, and it snowballed into the fact that where we died. And there was nothing to do about it. It just happened. And so I lost 10 minutes of my life, 15 minutes of my life. We were near the end, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's just one of those things. It's like all I wanted to do was farm. And the reason the other guys split from us is because they didn't want to farm mats. They wanted to run to the end as fast as possible to get the match over with. And I understand if you're just trying to get the match over with and you're trying to do whatever, that's fine, but I wanted to farm mats, and it's obvious I'm running around and trying to farm mats. And the fact that I don't want to ruin anybody else's experience either. And so it really bothers me that when I run into this problem where I'm having bad match after bad match after bad match, I can't just be like, okay, no more multiplayer. Let's just go solo for a little bit. Let me chill out, and then we'll go back to multiplayer. Because I do want to play with other people, just not all the time. And unfortunately, I'm not given a choice. And that, for me, is a cardinal sin. Because if I'm not having fun playing your game, I'm not going to play your game. It's that simple. I'm not going to play it. If it's not fun, I'm not going to play it. And if other people are ruining my fun, I'm not going to play your game. My dudes, I love your faces. Thank you for watching this video. Appreciate you, my dudes. And while I am pretty negative still about this game, I am playing it. I did have some fun today. It was fun. I do love killing me some chaos scum. But it still, in my opinion, has some way to go before it is redeemed in my eyes. It has not, No Man's Sky, and it's nowhere near that. Nowhere near it. And they still have a lot to do to earn back my trust. If I'm ever gonna like pre-order a game on faith for them again. So that's just the nature of the beast at this point. So again, thank you for being here. Love your faces. Hope you guys found this informative and at least somewhat entertaining. I'm losing my mind, it's great. So if you don't mind, please like and subscribe. Give the algorithm gods all that you can. I love your faces, and I'll see you next time, boys. Peace out.